Here then, picture this. It is April 1898. You are in the private drawing room of Lady Lamington. And please, no cake jokes. This is not a room one of your social station might have entered then. Lady Lamington is the wife of the then Governor Charles Wallace Alexander Napier Cochrane Bailey. After my time, I might add, a rather more formal couple. His good lady has a special dinner this evening, and she appears, highly agitated. She is alone at her writing desk. Hush, she has a visitor.
Enter.
Good morning, your ladyship. Glory be to God for such a wondrous day.
Mrs. Pope.
You called for me, your ladyship.
I called for you, Mrs. Pope, but divine intervention may be of more purpose here than a housekeeper.
I am at your disposal, your ladyship, as ever.
You recall, I presume, our special guest this evening, Madame Albani?
Indeed, your ladyship. An eminent vocalist, you said. A woman of fine voice.
Of international stature. Accustomed to the most refined standards of society.
Which, as God is my witness, you will surely provide for her, your ladyship.
Without the veal or carrots?
Your ladyship?
Do not mistake my youth, Mrs. Pope, for any inadequacy. Your note, which came to me only this morning, advises a problem with the butcher in the matter of the calf.
I feared a difficulty with its delivery, but I am sure it will be resolved in good time, my ladyship.
Late notice of such uncertainty makes it a strain, Mrs. Pope, to have faith in your judgment in this matter. It indicates casualness, a prime offence in any person, much less a housekeeper, a singular lack of standards. And what of this butcher?
He has served this house for many years, your ladyship, without complaint.
Well then, he knows, I venture to hope, that it is an inefficient practice to bleed the calf before killing it. It is said that it makes the flesh white, when all it does is render it dry and flavourless.
Your ladyship has a grasp of such detail?
It is accidental knowledge, Mrs. Pope. But it is knowledge the good Lord has put my way, and I do not waste it, especially as it may touch upon my menu and my guests. So, we will have the veal?
We will, your ladyship.
You may dismiss these finer points of life downstairs, Mrs. Pope, but not upstairs.
Indeed, your ladyship. Begging your pardon, your ladyship, you mentioned carrots.
Without carrots, this dish is a barbarism. You are familiar with our gardener as I am not, but it strikes me, Mrs. Pope, that for a man who works the earth, your Mr. McIver is altogether too bound to his English ways. What may suit a carrot in England in April may not do so here in the near Antipodes.
I earlier dispatched him to supplement his failed supply, and he has sent word that he has done so. Carrots will be served, as requested, your ladyship.
This process, Mrs. Pope, of the delivery of the menu needs attention. Of all the requirements of a feminine character, none take a higher rank, in my estimation, than those which create a successful mistress of the house. I will not endure this imperfection again.
No, your ladyship.
That is all.
Yes, your ladyship.
Well then, shall we move on? Oh, come along. Are you coming? If my timing's right, we'll arrive in good time for... Oh, listen. Yeah, hear that? Dinner's over. That's the men settling down with their cigars and port. Lucky devils. The women must now be coming to the drawing room. Come on.
A stupendous meal.
Your hair is wonderful.
All in procession. Quite majestic. Ah, they're beautiful. The style, the care they take. Oh, yeah. Not like you slapdash modern women, oh no.
Mrs. Aldershot, here, beside me. Mrs. Gibbs, thank you, my dear. My word, this is a grand couch. Sheer velvet. Nothing too grand for our governor.
Unlike some of those dinner guests. Who was that ghastly man across from you? Disgraceful. He positively snorted as he ate. Shush, dear woman, or you'll make me burst a button.
Apparently, he's a propertied fellow from the Downs, in need of some refinement.
Here is Lady Bowen herself, wife of the governor.
At last, welcome, ladies, welcome. Here we are, the very best time of the evening, all to ourselves.
Lady Bowen, a splendid dinner, splendid. Now you must sing for us.
You are too kind, Mrs. Aldershot. But what do all of our ladies wish?
To hear you sing, Lady Bowen.
Oh, yes, Lady Bowen. Please sing.
Please sing.
I do feel uncomfortable, you know. No place for a man here. I dare say this is a custom you moderns must surely regret you have lost. Men away in the dining room, women making for their own entertainment. Perfect way to end a dinner party, yes? Yeah.
Ladies, friends all, please welcome back Mrs. O'Connell, who can inform us all of her wonderful enterprise in establishing a servant's home, where girls could be trained in the skills that would enable them to be employed.
Thank you, Lady Bowen. Thank you, ladies. We seek to train girls of the lower orders. Many miscreants amongst them, I fear, to give them domestic skills, allowing their future employment.
As mistresses of our houses, we may all testify there is such a need for well-trained servants. Mrs. O'Connell, you are a true adventurer.
Lady Bowen will sing, you know. Or someone will. These women knew how to sing and play piano. At least those women did who wished to demonstrate they were suitably refined and cultured. For marriage, I mean. A musical facility is a great attractor.
But Lady Bowen is the adventurer, is she not? She has the courage to sing and play piano for us all.
What did I tell you? This really is very uncomfortable.
You make it too difficult to say no, especially since singing brings me such joy. But what should I sing?
What about Thou art so near and yet so far?
Wonderful! The mail steamer has just brought me a letter which says this song is very popular in Europe. Lady Bowen, do you know it?
Indeed. And I have the music.
Then it is fate.
And my pleasure too. But I must make a modification in the music for which boldness I trust you will forgive me.
Is it at fault?
After a fashion, truly and deeply at fault. It is composed by a man, and the music is written for a violin to accompany it.
Well, a fault indeed.
Ah, yes, another practice from my own society, alas, lost in yours. Women do not play violin or flute or cello. Oh no, for such instruments may force them into unflattering poses. The piano is the instrument for a woman, or a harp, but especially the piano.
But before I begin, permit me to say, amid the frequent harshness of our lives here, how precious music truly is. Of all the arts that make a life dear, music has always been the dearest friend to me.
Tear to my eye, a tear to my eye. Now this is where we held the Government House balls. You must imagine it decorated with Chinese lanterns and local ferns and palm branches on the walls. An invitation was an honor that had to be earned. It became so popular we needed marquees out there under the stars to accommodate the crowds. Only the correct people were invited, of course. One of the most popular occasions was when debutantes were formally presented to the governor. It was the young women's coming out into society. You moderns seem to lack an equivalent occasion. Ah, the music, the press of society's best people, the hubbub of talk, the whirl of dresses, the intoxication of perfumes. Oh, here. There's two debutantes taking it all in. They'll be full of the serious significance of the event. Let's listen.
I promise you, if Captain Farquhar looks my way again like that, I will swoon. Just swoon away.
That's Miss Dixon. She's the daughter of the Premier, James Dixon. Captain Farquhar is the governor's aide-de-camp, and a married man.
You may take your Captain Farquhar. It's Captain Pine for me. I do not dare think of those powerful arms about me as we fly around the dance floor.
That's Miss Moorhead. She's the daughter of a former Premier.
Look at Mrs. Farquhar. Her dancing serves her husband very poorly.
Have you been introduced to the good captain?
Of course. Once when Daddy had parliamentary business with Governor Lamington, I did happen to be present. But such introductions do not count. Tonight, when I am formally presented, I pray he will see me with new eyes.
Oh no, that awful Mr. Leeds is coming this way. He seems altogether too wayward and rough a type to be here. Ugh, he has that fixed look. I believe he means to ask one of us to dance.
Quickly, look ill, look faint. Let me attend to you. Oh, Miss Moorhead! Breathe! Breathe, Miss Moorhead!
This behaviour sits very poorly with the seriousness of this occasion.
He's veering towards the marquee and refreshments. We are saved.
His conversation is so immature. We enter society tonight, but he will assuredly remain a boy. Oh, there's your Captain Pine. He is dashing. And a bachelor. Have you been introduced?
Well, not exactly. Out horse riding last month, my horse unseated me, leaving me in a puddle. He kindly came to my aid, but seemed more taken with the mirth and mud of the situation than my personal qualities. Oh, Captain Farquhar has taken the dais to address the room.
My breast is pounding. I cannot look.
This conversation hardly reflects the fact that social events such as these were an important part of the role of the viceregal office and of Government House.
Stand! Stand! It is a toast to Her Majesty. You must stand.
My legs will not obey me.
Perhaps we should move to the next room. Come. This is the dining room. Governor Bowen and Lady Bowen are entertaining just a few guests tonight, an intimate affair. Ah, the high point of the social day, the candles, the dazzling white linen, spotless glasses, the sheen of the plates, judicious distribution of fruits and flowers. Now see how the servants carry food from sideboards to the guests course by course, and the footman at the side table carves the meat there and brings it to each guest in turn. Then omelettes, pastry, and oh yes, confectionery. Guests do not even pour wine for each other, but call a footman to do it. This is dinner à la Russe, a Russian system. Everything proceeds in a precise, orderly fashion, as indeed it should. This is the Reverend Dr. Lang. Imagine a Republican at a vice-regal table.
My dear Governor Bowen, Lady Bowen, it is hospitality's iron rule that to invite a person to your house is to take charge of his or her happiness, so long as he or she is beneath your roof. The mistress of the house must ensure the food exhales. The master must answer for the wine and liqueurs. This rule is doubly, quadruply observed in this establishment. My compliments to you both.
Thank you, Reverend. But it is to my wife you need to direct your approbation. She rules in these matters and brooks no interference.
Thank you, Reverend, for your kind words.
Course 1. Soup, eaten without noises from the side of the spoon, not the end. The 2 dishes of fish with little patties down the sides. Oh, I can taste them. Fish is eaten with a silver fork. A knife of the usual metal is highly injurious to the flavour of fish. Governor, do I infer some hint of celebration in your manner this evening? That's Deputy Governor O'Connell. Irish origins, but he's a reasonable fellow nonetheless.
Well inferred, Morris. You anticipate me. We announce tomorrow that we have recaptured those infernal bushrangers, Fagin and Wright.
Bravo.
They will invade no more homes, and we suffered no casualties in the action. Our settlers along the Fitzroy River will sleep more easily tonight.
Wine, please. A toast to your success. This so-called Flash, Peter Fagin, will no longer appear quite so flash. Well done, sir.
Well done.
Oh, what I would give for even the scent of that wine.
Well, ladies, shall we take ourselves away for feminine activity and leave these men to their cigars?
Oh well. Shall we continue our tour? Here we are. My office. Well, the office of whomever is governor. It was mine once. Library over there. Desk here. The seat of power in the colony, you might say. Up to a point. One cool July day in this very room, I exercised what I saw as my rightful power as governor. And I went from here to my grave. A day I relive even still. I will relive it for you. Yes, come in.
Excuse me, Governor. Premier McElrath is here to see you.
Did we have an appointment? Ah, Premier. Thank you, Anthony.
Thank you, sir.
Good afternoon, Governor. I have no appointment, but I'm sure you know why I'm here.
Please, Premier, sit down.
Have you made a decision?
I've not had time, Premier. I was expecting to hand down my decision to you within the week.
Time is pressing.
Why? The prisoner isn't going anywhere. He waits upon resolution of this matter.
There is rising public disquiet and support for Cut.
Does the public rule as governor now? The request is on my desk. It's a purely vice-regal issue.
You have received a formal request for clemency for Benjamin Kitt, sentenced to 3 years in prison for the theft of 2 pairs of boots. My recommendation as Premier is that you grant this request.
I am bound to remind you, Premier, that the prerogative of mercy is vested with the governor.
Under advisement of your ministers, namely me.
Advisement I may accept or reject. I will not be pressed into an intemperate decision on this matter.
What grounds do you have for refusing clemency? Do you not agree the sentence is severe?
Take care you do not exceed your authority. My concerns lie elsewhere.
I would welcome advisement, sir, as to what they might be.
Are you familiar with a vessel named Hopeful? Is another request for clemency about to come to me concerning that ship's crew recently found guilty of murder and blackbirding in New Guinea? Well, sir,
Your only concern here is the appropriateness of clemency for Benjamin Cut. That is the extent and limit of your authority as governor.
I will not set a precedent that will tie my hands in further cases. I exercise my royal prerogative, sir, and reject clemency. And that's an end to it. Good day to you, sir. There you have it. It wasn't the end of it, of course. The issue went over my head to London. The Secretary of State for the Colonies exercised his prerogative and ordered clemency for Kitt. It was a blow to the authority of the governor in this colony. I lost heart at this encounter. If this room could speak, what other tales of power won and lost could it tell? Shall we move on? Now here's an encounter in which I confess an interest. This is 1887, in the term of my own governorship. About to witness an event too lowly for a governor to even know about. The housekeeper, whose name I never knew, is appointing a new maid. Such affairs are a closed book to one of my station. Part of the hidden order that keeps the subterranean wheels of the house turning. Let's hear them out.
Over here, lassie. Hop to it, you're late. You are Miss Steele?
I am. And being late is the fault of a tardy coach. I saw no other house with this magnitude, so I expect I'm in the right place.
You are to turn round and go, right now, if you cannot hold your tongue.
Yes, missus.
You have earned your keep as a maid before?
After a fashion, missus?
There is no after a fashion in this house, you fool of a girl. There is yes, and there is no. Do you have it in your head to be dismissed ere you have even begun?
Begging your pardon, missus. Had not risen before to be above stairs. It makes me jittery, and not me normal self. But I learn smartly.
Can you turn smart learning to hard work? The last maid was sent away for laziness, and you do not inspire faith.
Oh, missus, I'm an hard worker. I know only long hours which my rough hands and strong back prove. And you bear a chance to show it.
Then you show it as follows. It falls to you to quickly and diligently light the fires and keep them stoked. Clean till they are spotless all public rooms of the house. Make the beds. Sweep, dust and clean the rooms and other areas of the house. Polish all candlesticks, floors and furniture. Brush all carpets and bait the rugs.
A lot of cleaning?
A maid such as you is meant to be invisible. You do it all before the family rise or when they're absent.
And since no one sees, do these high and mighty suppose there are fairies here doing it all?
At all times be clean and well groomed. Be silent unless spoken to. With your third tongue, 'tis better you never speak at all. The servants' wing is out here. A new cottage was added for us only 3 years ago. I will shortly show you the allowed thoroughfares through the house to keep you invisible. The staircase for female servants is on the left side of the building. Use no other. Should a man be here in any association to you, you are dismissed on the spot. You also answer to the lady's maid, who you will meet directly. You may address the kitchen maid, but not give her tasks. The rest you learn by doing. Well then?
Well then, missus, I should set to. I'm ever so keen to be cleaning. And invisible.
What brought you to this place so far from your home?
Want of opportunity, missus. I heard gold lay in the streets here.
And you believed these tales?
I am hopeful some good will break my way. Maybe a good husband.
Keep yourself clean, attend your church, and respect the law. All else is foolishness, as the working life soon teaches us all.
Yes, missus. Thank you, missus.
Well, well. Do you know, I understand she worked in the house for 3 years, and I don't recall seeing her at all. Now, this is the governor's bedroom. And here he is, Sir George Bowen, and his good wife, Lady Diamantina. This is the most private of rooms. Don't be shy. Come along, come along.
I met Mr. Hill today. The man takes his duties as superintendent of the Botanic Gardens so very seriously.
That is cause for satisfaction, is it not? You sound less than satisfied.
Ah, Sir George. He himself could not be faulted in his sense of duty to his office. How odd he finds it troublesome in another. Here he is, the first governor of Queensland, and worrying about trees.
No dissatisfaction with the good Mr. Hill. His plans to develop the gardens are quite wonderful, but expensive. We cannot spend what we have not first accrued. But I do share his vision.
Like the specimen of bunyip pine in front of us, and his whole avenue of them. They will stand the test of time.
Indeed. It will be one of the most striking features of this bustling town. And his gardens of fruits and vegetables prove their popularity by the thieving of the produce. And now, he proudly advises me that he has successfully grown a cinchona tree, which could have commercial prospects.
Cinchona? What on earth is that?
Its bark yields quinine, my dear.
Reputed to be a cure for malaria. How wonderful!
My daily walk through the gardens is every day a voyage of discovery. Maize, corn, sugarcane. Do you know, he and a planter gentleman from Barbados have made granulated sugar right here in Queensland. It too may have a commercial future. Mr. Hill has created a wonderful experimental ground.
Our own sugar? And he has produced tea and coffee, has he not? Such social essentials, growing right here.
Indeed. Large patches of tea, coffee, some cotton, and cinnamon too.
Everyone comments upon the splendid flowering of the jacaranda. The entire tree shimmers in a lilac cloud. People make special excursions to view it.
Brought from Brazil to be the first jacaranda in the Australian colonies. I have been considering some special award for his labours, but without success.
From what you say of this man, he may refuse an award.
Indeed. He is likely to inquire of its cost and ask for that money instead to purchase more exotic seeds. He has created a treasure for the town, for the colony. It will outlive all of us. If only my other public appointees were as diligent in their service to the state.
Ah, yes, his botanic gardens are one bright light in an enveloping darkness. He's fighting a financial crisis in his newly born Queensland, and huge pressure to solve it forthwith. But that's another story. Come, let's explore further. Now, this is a room for servants to lay out the governor's clothes, the dressing room. Here are kept uniforms and formal dress of every kind. And what an array it is. A more formal world than you moderns know, yes? Let's hear these two sermons.
Sir, I can't even see the mark. Where is it?
The shoulder. The jacket may be permanently damaged.
They wouldn't throw it out. Give it to me. I'll remove its finery and wear it myself. Better quality than I can afford. Now I hold it to the light, I see it. What an eye you have!
20 years practice helps. I'll fix the hat first. Use the soft brush to clear the fluff. Gently.
All right. See how tenderly I apply the brush? Look, no fluff. Perfect.
For the jacket, use the mixture in the small bottle. Dab it on the stain with a linen cloth. No other.
Nay, let's really ruin it. Then his kingship will toss it out and I'll take it home for myself. Looks flash.
Take it off! What are you doing? The governor will wear these to open parliament. If you have a mind to remain in this house, show some grasp of your position.
Don't get all huffy. It's off. Anyway, it's too heavy for this weather. There. How's that?
The mark remains visible.
Only to your eagle eye. I like the navy blue. Like a ship's captain would wear. Make the girls look, eh? They go for the gold stuff, I reckon. God, having it all over the collar and chest is a bit much. But on the cuffs is all right. Suits me, eh?
Lay it out as I showed you, then leave it alone.
Why is it grown men do this fiddling with their clothes? Ought to be women. Where'd these fancy clothes come from anyway?
King George IV introduced a court uniform in 1820. He had the idea after seeing the uniform of the Marshal of France.
France? Blast me all to pieces, Mr. Robert. If I stay here as long as you, will I get to know this sort of rubbish too? There, stain all gone. What do you think caused it? Some wicked woman's face powder? Giving him the nod, cuddling close, eh?
Get off and away with you. You'll end up in the arms of the Jack the way you carry on.
It was the Jack that got me sent here in the first place, eh? Don't talk Jack to me. This is a full dress uniform, right? So fill me up with more of your frippery, my man. When I'm a person of high standing, when do I wear full dress? Pray tell.
Full dress is worn at court, evening state parties, in drawing rooms, state balls and concerts.
And you say the governor's uniform here is of the first class. How can a shirkster like myself know this?
By the width of gold oak leaf embroidery. First class has 5 inches, second class has 4.
Oh, here's my kind of equipment. A sword is a man's equipment. Has it any blood on it?
Back in the scabbard! It is freshly sharpened and will slice off whatever comes close. Here, its belt needs whitening. Set to, then comb out the heart's ostrich feather.
A first class hat, is it? Do I learn my lessons well?
Know your place, lad. That is the best and only lesson.
To 21st century eyes, so many rules and ranks, but it marked social level at a glance. How you do without it, I fail to comprehend. What more efficient way to recognise your betters, or your inferiors? Well, off we go, to rooms more congenial to my own rank. Now, a bedroom. We need to be quiet. Lady Lamington is writing to her husband's mother in London.
Dearest, the mail goes today, so I send this scrawl to tell you of our safe arrival. It will take ages to settle here. The heat is fearful and the mosquitoes too dreadful, even with curtains we had devoured. This is a dear little house, but so small, hardly vice-regal, rather a bore. It is furnished too dreadfully, like a second-rate lodging. Not even a chest of drawers anywhere. There used to be everything here, but they sold it all off.
Can you imagine the shock of life in the colonies for the Lamingtons? Socially, they were very upper echelon, even connected to the royal family.
It is frightfully hot, even in the bedroom, but cooler than the utter onslaught one meets outside. I look out from the veranda onto the broad river. The government yacht Lucinda is berthed below.
You moderns should remember that in 1896, Government House had a clear view to the river.
I see from here the town across the river, and high cliffs with a red-tiled church on top. Some Philistines paint advertisements on the cliffs, but it remains a lovely view. Upon arrival I inspected all of the house, so excited to be mistress of what we were told was a grand enterprise. It was freshly done up for us, but I found a brown plush top to the bed in my bedroom, and peacock blue plush portieres and curtains in the drawing room, in our private rooms, where our souls need most to feel comfort and at peace. Your son said to me, "It is hopeless to make this house nice. What shall we do?" I said, "Don't despair. We'll try what can be done." I told the man in charge I do not care for plush for the everyday. Would he get chintz covers? He said none was to be had in all Brisbane, but brown Holland covers would serve nicely. I could not conceal my dismay, which may have given him new purpose, for he said if I could find chintz, the government would let us have covers of it. Imagine this little man giving me his permission to have chintz in my own rooms! Well, I undid the peacock green plush, and in its place arranged bits of other curtains I had found in the house, and disposed of that brown plush bed top. So the house by degrees grows pretty, with varnished floors and basket tables and chairs in the hall, and aboriginal weapons around the walls. With the front door open, we have a most pleasant breeze on the hottest days. How strange that our summer will be your winter. What a topsy-turvy world.
How topsy-turvy, too, that the most socially prestigious of Queensland's governors is remembered for a cake. A Lamington. Oh dear, life is complex. This is the sitting room. It's being prepared for 2 very special guests. Oh, that I might have been governor in 1901 to meet them. These 2 will hardly appreciate the importance of this occasion.
I just clean the upstairs rooms, and Mrs. comes along and gets me to move it all and start again.
Exposing the dust you thought you hid.
Out of sight, out of mind, I say. And now here we are doing the same. Move this, shift that down here.
Here, help me with this divan.
To what end? That sits well there.
Another will replace it. Oh. Girl, what are you doing? Get up! Get up!
Just resting. You can carry me out on the blasted thing.
If the missus catches you, if you're behind on her divan, you'll be dismissed there and then.
So does my behind fail some upper-class taste that her behind does not?
Margaret!
Listen to this foolishness. The occasion means nothing to them.
Sit yourself down too, Ruth. Have a breath.
I can't bear you sitting there tempting the devil.
I am touched you care for my future, short as it may be round here. So why all this toing and froing? Whose royal behind will rest here in the place of mine?
Royal indeed.
No. You tease me.
The Duke and Duchess of Cornwall and York.
Oh!
Well, that moved you, didn't it? Here, pick up your end of this thing.
Was this true? No. To come here? But why?
To celebrate a brand new federated Australia. The Duke in good time succeeds to the throne. He must see all parts of his empire. Pick up your end.
Ow, heavy! What the future, King? Here? Will we see him or her at all? Actually clap eyes on them?
What prattle! Put the likes of you and me in their plans. This is a new country, but some matters do not and should not change. They are royalty.
But to have them in this house and not even catch a glimpse as they pass by? Oh, but to see them might be too much too.
Well, someone was opening the door to them, Miguel, when they arrive.
Oh, that I could not do. Stand in that actual sight? No, I could not do that. It's too much beyond my station. I'd go stiff as a board.
Indeed. Come the day, the servants failed entirely to control their excessive emotion. The occasion so overwhelmed them they ran off, leaving poor Lady Lamington to open the door to the Duke and Duchess herself. Some things the lower orders may grasp, others they never will. The rich man in his castle, the poor man at his gate. God made them high and lowly, and blessed them in that state. It's a lesson for us all. You moderns, too. Come along. Enough of this. The principal guest bedroom. Many a royal and upper-class personage has graced this room. Today, however, a certain Marianne North, an artist, unmarried, travels alone, painting flowers. Odd. Solid letters of introduction, independently wealthy. Extraordinary. She's writing in her diary. Secrets and gossip? Let's see.
Arrived Brisbane, 8th August, 1880. Hotel clean but not attractive. I am not sorry to have accepted Mr. and Mrs. Joshua Bell's kind invitation to stay here at Government House. He is acting governor, no less. I must advise Sir Joseph his letters of introduction win me respect and cooperation here, although, as ever, some look askance at my travelling unaccompanied.
Well, a woman alone? Of course.
I've managed some out-of-doors sketching. Little is in flower in the Botanic Gardens, but the Government House garden is rich with sweet home flowers. Roses, carnations, heliotropes, a few tacomas and Tasconias, which certainly proves cold weather here is rare. Dracaenas, strelitzias and Norfolk Island pines also give a different look to the gardens, as well as wattle trees, all yellow with thousands of fairy bulbs and leaves mimicking the eucalyptus.
She does have an eye for plants. I'll concede that.
The Botanic Gardens occupy the side of a low hill which slopes down to the river. The governor's house and domain are at its immediate back. John Smullins, head gardener for almost 20 years, maintains a sizable kitchen garden which looks robust enough to meet the house's produce needs for years to come.
'Tis indeed. We've eaten well here, even when serious shortages have threatened across Brisbane.
It is curious how people ask me to assess the progress of the colony. I say I am too recent an arrival, but they press me still. The desire to know is admirable, but arises perhaps from want of confidence. I dislike responding, since I find Brisbane itself to be a most unattractive place, a sort of overgrown village with wide empty streets of driving dust and sand surrounded by wretched suburbs of wooden huts scattered over steep bare hills.
Sand? Sand? Has she seen our town at all? So much for our hospitality. Her father served many years in the House of Commons, hopefully with a firmer grip on proper behaviour of guests. The night nursery. Nanny is helping the Bowen children wind down from the day's bustle. We call it the Children's Hour. Let's listen in.
Come along now. Have you all said good night to your mother and father?
Yes, Miss Mary.
And all dressed for bed too?
Yes, Miss Mary.
Well then, I'll turn off the gas light and you can all go straight to sleep.
No, Miss Mary. Reading time. Book time, Miss Mary.
This book?
Yes, who killed Cockatoo? Who killed Cockatoo?
Very well then. Curl up. Come on, Agnes, in between Nina and Zoe.
Book.
Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Who killed Cockatoo? I said the Moorpork with my tomahawk. I killed Cockatoo. I killed Cockatoo. Who saw him die? I said the Opossum from the gum blossom. I saw him die. I saw him die.
I saw him die. I saw him die.
What a lot of noise in here.
Mummy!
Shush, children, shush. Reading their favourite story, your ladyship.
Oh, not the cockatoo, Mary. It's too frightening.
No, Mummy, it's fun.
Well, you are making too much noise up here. We don't want to hear you all the way downstairs. We're having a very important dinner and we must not be disturbed.
Sorry, your ladyship. Perhaps another story then.
Very good. Good night, girls. Sleep tight.
Good night, Mummy.
Into bed now and settle down. We'll read more about that silly cockatoo tomorrow night, shall we? Now, how about...
Oh, please, Miss Mary, can we have the laughing jackass?
Oh, no, Nina, much too noisy.
We can whisper it, Miss Mary.
Very well, then. The laughing jackass. Then flying very fast came laughing jackass. Hoo, boo, hoo. Ha, ha, ha. While he gobbled a snail and wagged his big tail. Hoo, boo, hoo. Ha, ha, ha. There we are, all done. Come now, stillness, calm. We must compose ourselves. Time for prayers, to give thanks for the day. Shh, we will say our prayers.
I once had a daughter, you know. She was called Joyce. No more. Let's leave them to their prayers, shall we?